All right, everybody. No intro music today. I'm already running a little bit behind schedule. Dudes, I had to... Hang on, I have to move all this stuff back around. I had to cool this room off. I didn't want the air conditioner background noise feeding the mic. And let's just say it got really, really hot in here. Like we were pushing 90 Fahrenheit. It got hot. It got really toasty in here. So I had to cool. I went out and talked to Brimo for a little bit because this room needed to cool off. Dude, it got really toasty. So, yeah, what'd you think? Not bad. As hot as where the fuel is stored. Indeed. Yeah, it got really toasty. So, did okay. I never have hosted an NSF cast before, so I was kind of, I'll admit, I was a little out of my league, dudes. But, man, you gotta be all professional and stuff. I'm like, oh. Wait.
That is not mainstream canon, but that's what I choose to.
All right, so you did good? All right, cool.
Some stories here. And the next one here is from the Discord user, Cyclic. When it comes to future tech, and there's no real-life equivalent to grab photos of, what do you use for inspiration? Do you have any favorite reference sources, or...
All right, I have the KSP2 Dev AMA up here.
Yes, okay, so I went to, again...
Here, let's key that up here and see what's good.
Because, like I mentioned, he's really our design liaison.
It's kind of halfway through the AMA already, but we'll see what's good.
Depicting...
That
we're depicting our vehicle parts as accurate as possible, right? And so...
So that's, on the left, that's Ness. She's the art director for KSP2, and that's Michael, the community manager for KSP2. They're doing it at Dev AMA here, so let's
heavily, like, references the kind of 50s classic space race, space age aesthetic of, like, Soviet and USA going at it, trying to get to the moon and beyond. Some, like, media reference of this. Here's some more book references. Jules Verne. He, I think, depicts rocket punk in a lot of his stories. The manga and anime Planetes, I think that's how you pronounce it, Planetes, also depicts kind of that rocket punk, again, that like 50s NASA Soviet-style rocketry. And then future stuff that we put in the game can involve actually working backwards from theoretical NASA papers. So we had a stand-up once on the art team where we were, stand up, we go one by one, each artist, each designer, each engineer, talk about what we're doing for that day, if there's any blockers, if anyone needs to follow up with anyone else on the call. It just kind of helps keep us all on the same page. And we got to Adderley, and he was like, yeah, I'm just kind of reading this, like, NASA white paper about what this theoretical fuel type would be like, and so that's my day. And we had to be like, wait, stop. Everyone shush. Chris, share your screen. What the heck are you working on? And he's like, oh, yeah, well, this is he shared screen, and it's, like, got the NASA stamp in the corner, and it's got, like, this, like, diagram of, like, fuel flow through a motor, and it's all very, like... plain. It's like a diagram, right? And then he flips screens. He's like, this is what I think it would look like. And it's a full engine that he's like, gray boxed out and mocked up for the artist. And we're like, oh my God, can we patent this? Like, are we even allowed to? So, we take our research seriously.
I'm always blown away by that. I mean, there's a lot of reading material. I don't have enough time in my day, but it's fantastic. Our next one here's from the Discord user, Nova Raptor TV.
Hey,
what is your favorite part for vehicles? Like engines, landing legs, etc., that you and the art team are working on concepts for, or you got to work on concepts for. Sorry.
Yeah. So personal preference, I like all the solar panels. I think there's like a huge variety of not just like shape and look of them. Oh yeah, here's like a little video of one of our 3D artists, Alex Martin. Kind of walking through a material update he was doing to some of the solar panels, and when he zooms in, oh, that's so nice. So again, this capture is from in a 3D software program that he was doing to generate these kind of new materials and textures, but I love how, like, whimsical all the solar panel like unveiling animations are. I really love the look of this like gold and kind of blue, these solar cells. I also think, personally, I build very goofy vehicles, and I like using solar panels for purposes not intended.
We've seen it. We've seen it.
Oh, I've got some screenshots for you guys later. But yeah, they're interesting shapes. I feel like if you're doing like weird non-rocket creative builds, you can use solar panels for a lot of stuff. So yeah, these are my favorites.
Cool. And the next one here is from the Discord. 0 Zeros. What is your favorite looking part? Extra points for parts that haven't been shown yet. Trying to get some leaks here, possibly. I love the game and all the art, by the way. The visuals are absolutely stunning.
Thank you, 0 Zeros. And because you were so nice, we've got art reveal for you here.
I'm just paying attention.
I don't know if this was shown in the dev diary, but we're also going to show it here, actually. It is the mini lab. This is going to be part of the science suite of vehicle parts that you can deploy to gain those sweet
tuned
points.
in Oculus too.
And yeah, we're calling this the mini lab. You can see some green
I can't answer that question, dude. I'm just trying to sit here and catch up.
I love the whimsical animation. I always love the look of MLI. Actually, fun fact, at Goddard, I got to see the room where they sew and like quilt the MLI all together. And it's just a bunch of like very sweet older women sitting in a room with a bunch of like heavy duty industrial sewing machines. And they make these like perfectly tailored like, insulation wraps for all of the satellites and rocket parts. And I think if I wasn't working in games, that might be my dream job.
Now you're just bragging at this point. So our next one here is also from the Discord, user Kaveric. In terms of KSP2's development, what would an idealized exceptional asset artist be like to your team?
Yeah, thank you for this question. I love all the game dev questions too, because we're here not just to educate about space travel, but also how games are made. So, I could talk about artistic skill and portfolio and, just understanding the software and the engines that we're building in. But what we screen very heavily for here at Intercept, and we hire a lot of folks who don't necessarily have traditional game dev backgrounds, right? ASP2. We hire a lot of folks from the aerospace industry. We just hired a producer the other day who comes from JPL. Hi, Cairo. So part of what we look for, what I like looking for in an art team, is someone who is creative and curious. I would, you don't hear about it a lot. Maybe you do, depending on what GDC talks you listen for. But I value soft skills very, very highly. People who are open to differing ideas, willing to take feedback, positive in their interactions with cross-discipline, willing to talk to design, willing to talk to engineering, willing to work with QA, right? Someone who understands the game dev pipeline, someone who wants to learn more, who's curious about the subject matter that we're working on. Soft skills are huge for me.
Awesome. And then this one also comes from the Discord, user funnyguy7749. What is the process for choosing the design for different planets and moons in the game?
Yes. Okay, good question. This is fun. So if you want to know more about this, we have a GDC talk that we did, which is Game Developers Conference. It's kind of like a big industry conference that happens for game devs. And we were sent there in March. Myself, John Cialetti, our tech artist, Brandon Sung, one of our environment artists, Sung Campbell. I say Brandon and Sung all the time together. Sung Campbell, one of our principal environment artists, Brandon Orden, who is our senior environment artist, and then Mike Azanero, who is one of our graphics engineers. All of us flew over to San Francisco and gave a big talk about the spherical mesh and how we create, planets and celestial bodies in KSP2. And so if you want more info, check that out. But the Cliff Notes version is that for the Kerbal system, we really obviously looked at the first game. We wanted to retain the identity and also that kind of physical challenges that come with landing on various celestial bodies. For example, I think we've got a kind of photo. Yep, we can show you here of the Mun. So we wanted to represent kind of like design challenges visually. And we consider that to kind of the intersection of design and art is user experience, and it goes past just interacting with like UI, right? This is user experience to me. The fact that those darker kind of mare zones on the Mun, which mimic the mares on the moon, they are flat and there's way less scatter and they're easier to land on. And then the heavily cratered kind of lighter areas of the Mun there, they look way busier, right? They're way more higher detail. You're gonna have a slightly of a harder time landing there. So that kind of visually conveys that landing puzzle, and we always every celestial body in the Kerbaler system and beyond will have some kind of landing puzzle that is conveyed visually. And also when it came to KSP2, we wanted to add more physical credibility. So like really getting hyper detailed with like the clouds on Jewel and making sure that they were as accurate and fluffy as a gas giant should have. For upcoming star systems that are not rooted in KSP1, it began with research on exoplanets and like exotic celestial bodies. And actually, we've got another image here. Yeah, so the research you can see at the top here, obviously this is for Kerbaler system, celestial bodies, Elo and Moho. But the process is still the same. And so it starts with talking to design, getting references. You can see up there, I think that's the like reference board for Eve. What kind of the real life analogs we were looking at and some of like kind of the aspirational stuff we wanted to show. We get a concept made then at the bottom. Those are actually 2D illustration concepts of Elo and Moho, Elu and Moho. So it starts with design. We brainstorm, we figure out the landing puzzle, then it gets a concept, then it goes over to environment, either Sung, Brandon, one of those two, to flesh it out using various software programs and terrain tools in order to create the topology and the textures that then get adjusted so that as the player moves in and out of, right up close to the planet's surface, through the cloud layer, if it has clouds in an atmosphere, and then up into orbit, that it's smooth and that transition feels as good and as fluid as possible. We don't have loading screens between landing and taking off a planet here in this game, which is a technical challenge that is actually really fun to work around. So finally, after all that's kind of ironed out, then we have kind of create bespoke rocks and meshes and scatter to kind of populate the surface of these celestial bodies with.
Awesome. It's a lot of information.
It is.
Our next one here is from the Discord here, user Spacat. What is the priority list on graphical improvements?
Yes. Okay. So, without going into too much detail, because there is an excellent dev diary by one of our graphics engineers, Mortok, on the forums. We have our kind of first priority is updating our terrain tessellation system from PQS to CBT, which stands for concurrent binary trees. This will allow us to have a much, much higher level of detail when players are actually approaching and on kind of the surface of these celestial bodies. And it will also have some major performance improvements. So that's number one for us. In that dev diary, he also talks about kind of our next priority, which is updating our render pipeline to HDRP, which I believe just stands for high def render pipeline versus universal render pipeline. This is all Unity game engine jargon. Since we started the game, a new Unity version has come out with some updated tools we want to take advantage of. And then,
nice.
Next, I think on the high level priority scale when it comes to graphics improvements, clouds, atmosphere, and water. And we should have news on that for you guys soon. TM.
All right. And then also from the Discord here, username Gordon Lemons. Will the pyramids ever come back?
I may or may not have had a conversation with Matthew Pope, one of our artists, about that yesterday. So, TBD.
Stay tuned is what I'm told. Stay tuned. Okay. The next one here is also from the Discord. This is user nominal user.
Great. Excellent.
Do you have any plans for making planets so realistic to the point where no visual enhancements or mods will be needed, or visual mods will continue existing?
Yeah, I'm gonna steal Adderley's line here. Like, modder's gonna mod. Like, they're gonna do it. Well, I encourage you guys to do it. I don't want to discourage or stop anyone from doing any kind of mods on KSP2. You guys are super talented. That said, our concurrent binary tree update is coming. It will bring
sorry, I had to get up
an
early
added
for something.
level of realism
Sorry for all the
to
yawns.
the game as well, to kind of get it to a comfortable or a higher level space. More higher visual fidelity is what I'm trying to say. I think the question is really like, where do you draw the line? Like, I think in any game process, you can really get into the weeds on like depicting realism in a game engine, and at a certain point, like video games are just an abstraction of real life.
Yeah.
And the level of abstraction depends on resources.
I'm tired.
Including like
I was up early this morning.
personal resources that the people working on the game have, like the motivation and inspiration and stuff like that.
I did the Virgin Galactic. I hosted the Virgin Galactic stream for NASA Spaceflight this morning, so I've been up for a good while, dude. And that, handling all the stuff with a NSF stream is a lot more difficult than Twitch streaming, dude. So I'm like, if I'm kind of like hosed out over here, that's why.
They've got
dude, it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. It's not just talking. Like, it's a little different when you have like 20,000 people in the chat. It's just
be one of our sheep t-shirts.
Maybe we'll think about it here.
It was fun though. I hope they'll have me back and I'll do more. That was a good time.
Was it hard converting art for the capybara and Kerbal into the models that would be used in the game for them? I snuck this question in here.
Well, let me tell you how we sent our entire art team on a research to a farm. No. Actually, funnily enough, I do have a little bit of art director art to
took a
show
lot
you
out,
guys
Dig.
here.
I'm actually like super tired.
Of the Kerbugs, the inception of the Kerbug. This is a paint over of a very early version of Cooper's loading screen for the research station, I think. And this is where the Kerbug originates from. I wanted a bug on that telescope lens that the Kerbal scientist was getting surprised by. And I drew it with a little capsule head and 6 eyes. And then the whole art team was like, yeah, we're going to make a bug. And that is how the Kerbug was born.
I didn't even know that was in there, so that's awesome. I learned something today.
There you go.
Okay. Next one here is from the Discord user Fun Phase. What are your thoughts on ways to allow further customization, such as finer control over painting of surfaces, icons, stamp applications, etc.?
So, plug, we're hiring a senior tech artist for KSP2 to help out with this exact thing. So, short answer, yes. I would love, we've got plans for further customization of vehicle parts, for more user control over vehicle, customization, whatever that means. And we need another tech artist to help us out on this team. Basically, that tech artist will be working directly with Chris Adderley's feature team, all the vehicles artists, all the parts artists, we call them partists. And so please check out our website and apply to that role, because we want you to make customizable vehicles.
We know we have a lot of talented folks out there.
We do have a lot of talented folks.
Come at it to the game.
Yeah.
And then also from the Discord here, we have Sylvist Hogg. I believe is how I said it. If I'm butchering these names, I'm going to apologize now. But are there many discussions between the different teams that start with the artists?
Yeah, that start with the artists, yes. Our entire team is very collaborative. We do a lot of cross-discipline work. So, for example, on our art team...
Mikey, entry is coming soon. Yeah, it's not in the game just yet.
Right, we're depicting their user experience, the UX, visually as well, so that we can help convey that information to players.
I'm putting on another pot of coffee. I'm going to let
Ness our tech artists and our environment artists, who are technically on the art team, work daily, very, very closely with the graphics engineers, who are obviously on the engineering team. And so, so much so that our environment artists are incredibly technically minded. Our tech artist, John Cioletti, got dubbed an honorary junior graphics engineer the other day. So there's a lot of kind of cross-pollination here. It has to happen on a game. That's also just like good game dev practices, is making sure everyone's talking to each other.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Our next one here is from the Discord user Failspace. How do you start on designs? Do you usually try to make it realistic from the start, or do you try something else?
Yeah, it depends on the asset. When it comes to, actually, it comes back to that question we talked about at the start, which is it silly or is it serious, right? Like, okay, lore-wise, is this a naturally occurring asset? Is this something that's going to occur on a celestial body? Okay, then we have to lean into, like, the seriousness of it and have it rooted in reality and rooted in geology and kind of tell a cohesive, historical story to where it came from, how it existed, how it fits into, like, the larger universe, et cetera, et cetera. If it's something the Kerbals built, we can go weird. We can go a little goofy. We can have, all of our parts are slightly stylized. And I've had some really, really fun chats with Adderley about this, about, like, shape language. And our parts and our vehicles all have, like, a subtle kind of stylization and shape language to them because they're made by the Kerbals. And the Kerbals are the most stylized thing in the game, right? They are abstractions, entire abstractions. So, not only just of, like, little humans, but also of, like, concepts and of like these big optimistic little creatures. And so, again, we take a step back, we look, where is this asset fit into, what category, and then that kind of determines how realistic we need to push the envelope on for it.
Cool. Our next one here is from the Discord, one of our moderators. Thank you. We appreciate you. Dibsner, as I can't pronounce your name. How do you plan to approach the visual appearance of aerodynamic effects and how they'll transition into the reentry effects at high enough speeds? Great work on the game's visual design so far, by the way.
Thank you, Dibsner. Yes, so we have plans to be much more communicative, visually communicative,
I have some
about
fresh
the moment-to-moment aerodynamics that are happening in the game, and overall across all of KSP2. So eventually and aspirationally, we want to show different plasmas during re-entry on different atmospheres. Mach effects should appear at Mach, etc. All of that. So again, like I was saying earlier, this ties into depicting UX and gameplay feedback for the player.
This is for the Virgin Galactic flight, man.
Sick as hell. So.
Hey, that's
the
we all love
Italian
that.
League in space.
And then we have our next question here is from the Discord username Samlanda _. What's your favorite part of working on this game?
It's the people who work on this game.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, the lovely folks in this room and beyond, in this building, all over. We're a distributed team. We've got plenty of remote workers. Actually, we have a joke that we say, like, KSP2 has 24/7. Someone's working on it 24/7 because we've got folks all over.
Yeah, Waymill, I'm trying to get in there more, dude. Trying to get my name out there.
More so than any other studio I've worked at.
Dude, I can't believe my freaking connection. My internet went out for, like, a blip for just a second during the freaking cast. And it started raining. Like, dude. Can you not? It sucked so much, man.
Here, right? Because everyone is so willing to offer respectful and thoughtful critique.
Skill issue,
no one's
dude.
got, like, weird rivalries or anything or any kind of drama. Like, our art team is really solid, and
the outro
on the art team, the whole studio is just, like, so clever.
I'm sitting here freaking out. I'm like,
we're working on something here on KSP2 that no other game is really doing. Orbital mechanics, real world rocketry, an entire star system
just sitting
in
here
one
just
game.
stressing the hell out.
More star systems to come. Our folks, not just Adderley, but, like, our tech artists and our graphics engineers, they're reading theoretical white papers about how to make our spherical, star systems work.
You think so, Meta?
It's challenging, but it's very, very rewarding to work on, and
they have all kinds of stuff, Pasquale.
Everyone I talk to,
dude, I can't even explain.
I was having a bad day.
DOS's setups are so convoluted at this point. Like,
don't leave my PowerPoint further down, please. Our next one here is from the Discord. It's kind of a follow-up to that question there. Zentronics, what is your vision for KSP?
Okay. I love this. This is going to be abstract.
Keep in mind, we only have so much time.
What are we at? Okay. I know. I could talk about this for a long time, so cut me off if it goes on. Very high level. I think that specifically science fiction media has a history of depicting
good to know, bud.
Things that don't exist yet that then exist because they are now in the cultural zeitgeist. As an example, Star Trek, right? Star Trek depicted tablets. It depicted, automatic doors. I love the production design on Star Trek, even just the visuals and their UI. I can't remember the name for that aesthetic, but they're beautiful, and even the costume. Anyway, Star Trek, the production designers influenced Apple, and I don't know if there's other genres that you can point to that do that for society. And so I think it's very, very...
Dude, Nessa's a top quality, top shelf nerd, and yeah, she's cool. She was at Amsterdam, so we've had a lot of conversations. And she's a 3D artist, and I'm a 3D artist, so we had a lot of conversations about art and nerd stuff. Yeah, no, it's a big nerd.
Around them. This is from
Pretty
Star
cool.
Trek, right? And that's a boiling it down to its very simplest form. But I think that's important, and I think we hear stories all the time about how KSP has influenced someone to study aeronautics or study, go to NASA, and this game has so much potential to genuinely normalize space travel and normalize planetary colonization to humans. And I know that is a lofty goal, but it's happened before in other, sci-fi media.
I'll just summarize with to infinity and beyond. I know
to infinity and beyond. We can do it. Join us.
So next question here. Thank you for that. It's great. I know you can talk about this for hours.
I can talk about this
We could
forever.
talk all day about
Thanks,
that.
Bob.
We can just keep going.
Slack me later.
So on the Discord here, we have a user Kaveric with a fresh start under unified management and a dev strategy from the get-go. How does the team ensure art assets made now still look relevant months, even years from now?
Yeah. And this is a fun question because this is also kind of like a broader game dev question. It's a challenge. Honestly, what it comes back to is just good art foundations. Our KSP2, like I was saying earlier, all our vehicles have a slight stylization to them, right? Very, very slight. All our buildings, our Kerbals, the game itself, slightly stylized. And stylization and stylized games, to me, have a timelessness to them, right? Because they are cartoony, they kind of they age very gracefully, right? And so I think, first off, to just having art that looks relevant months, even years from now is bingo. We've got that stylization. And then also just leaning into good art foundations, rhythm, shape language, color, form. We've got a very senior experienced art team here who have an eye to foundations and making sure that this game can look as good as it can for as long as it can.
Just turn the
Awesome.
graphics down, dude. They're having
next question
trouble
here
with
I have from Steam.
with the rendering.
User
They're
Mad
ironing it out. They actually talked
How
about
is
it.
the design for exoplanets going? Will we see something extravagant and unusual, or will it be much more simpler and realistic?
Exoplanets are gonna get weird. I'm very excited for them. We've got two planets that we've actually already talked about and revealed. One is Oven, which is kind of this super Earth, and then Gerdama, which is actually kind of like a depiction of Earth from like the Hadean era. So it's like primordial Earth planet. You've all seen Rask and Rusk before as well, in kind of like some of our older dev diaries, that kind of like binary system.
force.
Really cool lava. So yeah, just expect an increase in weirdness. The Kerbal system's rooted in our realistic star system, the solar system, but there's some funky stuff coming.
Nice, dude.
Can't wait.
My
We also
guy.
have one more
Put
from
your
Steam
freaking hand
here
up.
from
That's
Remy
awesome.
Kablami.
Nice.
Currently, the UI for the game makes it very hard to use the nav ball and to plan anything other than very close maneuvers. Will we get similar features to KSP1 in the future, such as a maneuver panel, approach panel, etc.?
Oh,
Yes,
please.
yes. So yes, we do expect to add fine maneuver controls prior to 1.0. We definitely recognize there's lots of room for improvement when it comes to kind of trip planning and maneuver creation and maneuver editing, and so they are definitely priorities for us.
Cool. Next one here I have from the forums. The kites. Are you satisfied by the way the game looks so far?
Yeah. I mean, this is a good question, and it's also kind of like a larger game dev question. Like, I
would
think
say
the
no.
keyword is satisfied. Like, we still have a lot of stuff to add in early access. We've got tons of updates to tackle. We've got big ones on the horizon. We've talked about CBT. We've talked about HDRP. There's additional parts and features on the way. So while maybe satisfied isn't the right word, because we're building it in front of you guys, and that is a very vulnerable place to be as an artist, right? Art is already very, very, very close to our hearts and our egos, and so showing it off to tons of people while it's still kind of a work in progress can be hard. But am I proud of what the team has done? Absolutely. I already gushed about the team earlier, but this is a Herculean effort. Our team is incredibly talented, absolutely punching above their weight. I'm very, very proud of what we've accomplished.
As am I. It's great. I'm still newer to the team here, but it's been fantastic.
Yeah.
I can't see the Twitch chat off the side here, but I was told to say hello, and we do appreciate all of you being here, and we're very grateful that all of you are hanging out with us today still. So hello.
Hi, chat.
I just want to jump to another question here on Discord. This is from Esco Mags. Should we expect to see other cool Easter eggs, like how the tuba engine and its siblings make the sound of their namesake?
You guys still have not even found all the Easter eggs currently in the game.
Oh no, you just challenge the community to find more?
All right. Howard Monstrom, who is our audio designer, I was gushing to him about, I believe it was SW Dennis, was it SW Dennis or was it Shadow Zone or Manly? Someone found that when you just mouse over some of the parts icons in the VAB, they're in a scale, and you can play a song with them. And I was gushing to Howard about it, and he's like, they haven't even found half of the audio Easter eggs I put in the game. And I was like, are you kidding me? So
oh, no.
Get your headphones on.
It's almost the weekend. I'm just saying, if we have some time.
Get out there.
And then the next question here I have from the Discord from Gamer and Namedian. Will there ever be a shiny Kerbal, like how you could get shiny Pokemon? That question for me, that's a great one.
Oh, man. So, funnily enough, they're kind of is something we're working on along these lines. It's not a shiny. I'm sorry, it's not shiny. But as you generate Kerbals, you may be able to see some Kerbals that look pretty indicative of some, KSC employees that might be named like KSC employees.
Possibly. All right, looking forward to that one. Our next one here, also from the Discord, is this Hofflet guy. Have the assets from the game been done? What does the art team do after the assets are made?
Oh, yes. Great question. Actually, I've got a file for that. So let me find this. Yeah. Sorry about that.
It's okay. I give all this. There's a lot of pictures. I know.
There's a lot of pictures.
A lot of arts. I've
all
seen
right. I'm good. So
organize the files.
This is going live. Yes. Okay. So, have the assets for the game been done? Yes. The art team is actually, as is with most games, the art team's ahead. So, the art team, we've got the specs. We're working closely with design. We're working with engineering. When art is done, we always work on the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And so our 3D artists right now, our partists, are working on colony parts. All the science parts are already done and ready to go, and they're all lined up. And so they're onward to colony parts. I've got some visuals here for you guys, too, because when our 2D artist, Raf Colonzo, wrapped up on some of his kind of tutorial art duties, he actually moved on to doing marketing art for us. And so this is his thumbnail pass on
hey, cool.
what you guys hopefully recognize as the key art for our early
no
access.
No one's seen this before either, right? This is the first time?
I think so. I don't know if this has been shared publicly. Raf is an absolute machine, and I love this. I actually love this sketch so much. Coop, who is one of our 3D artists, kind of translated it into the final key art you see on our Steam page and all that good stuff. And then I also have another image, more behind the scenes. This man's brain. Look at all of these key art thumbnails. There's some, again, talk about the sliding scale of silliness to seriousness. You can kind of see it at play here, right? We've got some very serious key art images and then some real goofy ones. The playing volleyball on the Mun one, and that's 4D. God, I love that one. But yeah, so the answer is really art is generally always ahead. working on kind of future update stuff, working on marketing stuff, doing graphic design and logo stuff, kind of whatever's needed.
That's awesome. I'm so glad we could share that with all of you.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to some quick fire questions. We're getting towards the end here, so I may not know the username, but if you recognize your question, I'm trying to get it through as quick as we can. For future interstellar travel, will there have a procedural generation of planet and solar system in order to offer a unique experience to each player?
Procedural generation is a hell of an undertaking. I will say it's not in our plans right now. That would be us changing over a lot, switching our lane massively.
I found that the ground texture is sometimes pixelated or blurry. Do you plan to improve the system?
That is that concurrent binary trees. That's what we're working towards right now.
Awesome. In the future, will more animations be added to Kerbals depending on what their stats are? Like lower bravery skills, nervously waddle when they run, or intelligent Kerbals tend to observe the surroundings a lot more?
I sent this to our animators.
Well, maybe. Have you had any nightmares involving Kerbals?
About Kerbals or about Kerbal Space Program? Yes.
Can Kerbal appearances change during long, hard missions, like growing hair or beard?
I think that's very fun. That smells of scope creep, but post about it in the forums.
Will the color selector for crafts ever be included a hex code for the colors?
That's great feedback. Also, please post that in the forums.
Will there be RCS animations, such as flying too fast, out of fuel, drifting away, etc.? Just animations for certain situations.
Yeah, great feedback to the forums.
Will there ever be an animation of your craft being taken to the pad by a super heavy lift launch vehicle for making cinematic sequences?
I want this. Put it in the forums, please.
If you haven't signed up on the forums, you should sign up on the forums.
This is your wake-up call. Yeah.
We do listen to everything. Right now, some of the parts, like the fuel tanks, look plasticky when painted. If I remember correctly, Kaveric also pointed out that the game grass texture on the terrain, when lit certain ways, reflects light unnaturally. Is the team aware of this?
Yeah, we're very aware of it. Most visual stuff that gets called out on the forums are things like the grass terrain that we've been staring at for years. So yes, we're working on it.
When will we get a proper anti-aliasing solution? The one we have in-game just makes the image slightly blurrier without reducing aliasing at all.
Yeah. Forums, please.
What is your favorite animation for the Kerbals? Both current animations and in progress so far.
Oh, I have a visual for this. It's labeled. Dakota, do you have it? Viz 13. Okay, it's the science. This is the science research animation. This is, again, Zim, our animator, did this. Wait, can you play it again? I love that the Kerbal he hooks a little thumb in his belt. He looks around. It's a Disney animation. This is my favorite. I looped this several times when he posted it for the first time. So, number one.
I'm excited. This is great. Are there any plans to implement graphics options to disable things like layered textures, transparent textures, character and part animations, lighting effects, and ground foliage in order to make the game more playable?
Yeah.
Guys, if it seems like I'm sighing at them, I'm not. I'm trying to take deep breaths to wake up. That's how you wake back up, because if you yawn a lot, it's because you're not getting enough.
Discovery, go at throttle.
Gotta improve. We gotta lean out. Gotta improve our oxidizer content.
Be coming back.
Yes, we have a spec for it.
Awesome. And we're a little over time, but I do want to give you time just you want to say anything to the community, just watching.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. We so appreciate everyone who's played Kerbal Space Program 2 and Kerbal Space Program 1 up until now. If you've got feedback, no matter what range it is in, please go to our Discord, go to our forums, let us know. Our community managers are amazing, and thank you guys for putting this together. And they've got eyes on all of our socials, so let us know what you think of the game. Also,
we do have one fun thing that we want to share with everybody here today, and I want you to do it. I love giving the news, but I would love it if you would just.
Welcome to the news. We've got a hotfix live for you guys right now. Should be live on all platforms. Yep, hotfix 131. This fixes atmospheric drag not correctly being applied to a capsule after decoupling. And this fixes buttons that overlap when you are trying to edit a procedural fairing in the VAB. Those should both be fixed right now.
And those were two huge things that were brought up to us in the forums, and
Yes.
we appreciate you bringing that to our attention. We're so excited for you to download, see how it works for you today. And again, thank you so much for joining us. We're so excited. This was awesome. The future is very bright for Kerbal, and we can't wait to share it with all of you. So
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Bye.
Cliff notes of that stream, they mostly talked about, it was mostly just art questions because Ness is the woman that was on the left hand side. Ness is the lead art director. I actually talked to her when we were in Amsterdam and Nordwick. Yeah, she's really cool. Yeah, we talked a lot about the art for the game. Yeah, good times. I mean, there wasn't like anything particularly that we didn't know. But, yeah, it's cool that we got a hotfix. Cool that we got a hotfix up and running. Just left the KSP stream. Happy Thursday to you. Restart Steam, dudes. Yeah, if you restart, it'll update. Yeah, just give it a quick tick right there. I'm happy that Kerbal is trending in the right direction. Science seems to be just on the horizon. And re-entry as well. So that's good. What was announced in a nutshell? It was just a dev AMA. Yeah, they were talking about just, you know, how the art design works in the game, concept art, stuff like that. It was cool. Ness is cool. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there wasn't... I'm not going to say there wasn't much substance, but it was good. It was a good little AMA. I mean, guys, I'll be honest. Dude, I'm telling you, man, running an NSF stream is... That's the first time I've ever done it. It is very different. It's very different. You have to kind of keep tabs on a ton of different things. I was watching 4 or 5 different chats, and also trying to commentate, and also trying to make sure that, you know, we carry the cast along. Dude, it's a lot. That's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Yeah, DK, you know, it's a lot of work, dude. It actually took a little bit out of me. We streamed for like what, 2.5 hours, something like that. That was tough. It was tough. Yeah, way harder than it's harder than doing this. Oh yeah. Yeah, I guess there's a bunch of audio Easter eggs all over the place, which is really cool. Hey, Dre, what's going on? Forza Azzurri. Forza Italia. They have some pretty good info, but they also gave some hits on what's been taking them so much time. Are we going to lose you like we lost Das as a KSP streamer? No. No. NSF is a side hustle, John. It's a side hustle. No. I can say with pretty good confidence that that's not going to happen. 1, because I love what I do here. 2, it would take a lot for me to abandon this, because it's my business, man. It's my baby. I'm not doing that. And if I do, it better be worth my damn while. And I'm not saying that NSF isn't, but it's just yeah, it's a side hustle, dude. That's basically what it is. You're a natural on NSF? Oh, thank you. Yeah, DK, there you go. Guys, I've talked about it before. I ain't giving up the stream for much. The only way I'd ever stop doing this is if, like I said, it would have to be really worth my while. Like, we're gonna pay you $200,000 a year to do this. That's when I'd be like, guys, I gotta go. Bye. But no, I'm not making a lateral shift out of this job. That's not happening. And once again, I ain't saying that NSF is a lateral shift. That's just something I've been wanting to do for a long time. And, you know, hopefully it goes somewhere. It's great to see you involved with it. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, there's a lot more to take into account. It's not just hitting the live button and kind of, you know, rolling with it. You know, when there's like 25,000 people in chat, it gets a little overwhelming, even for me. Not just the chat. I mean, I was reading chat, but I was also reading. I had 3 other chats open. I had the Twitch stream chat open, which was pretty quiet because we were supposed to simulcast, but that took a dump. It ended up not working, so I just said nah, whatever. Because I'm in the middle of I'm hosting the thing, so I couldn't, you know, do much. But it's great to see you involved for me personally. I mean, oh, that's cool. So yeah, I was watching. I had Twitch chat open, you know, and my mods. Thank you, mods, for telling people to go over to the stream. I had the Virgin Galactic stream open. I have the NSF back loop open. There's a lot of stuff to take into account. And then my internet went out too, mid cast. So that's good. But yeah, thank you for the feedback, guys. Lateral shifts from the stream aside or anything like that. That's like a big league cast. That's not just me screwing around making fart jokes and watching rockets launch and you know, teaching you guys about it. You know, I take running the NSF cast really seriously. So I may have stressed myself out a little bit more than I would want, but it's all right. You need to do a Top Gear style show, but for rockets. How would we do that? Hey, no problem. You can. My pleasure. Hey, what's wrong with fart jokes? I don't think that Chris B would like that. I gotta be professional. I gotta be like super professional there. Nice color match with the Ford Cup and the jersey. Coordinating colors is for winners, man. I don't know how that'd work, but I want to be involved. Yeah, it's let me just say, John, I see why DOS can't do this stream and NSF at the same time, dude. There's a lot of stuff, man. I noticed that you were talking a little bit differently. I noticed you're under pressure a lot is good. I've never hosted Erudite. I was like, what do you want me to do? Okay. It's kind of winging it, dude. So, make shuttle fart jokes and they won't care. Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, I have to adjust streaming with other people commentating too, Cryo. I can't keep up with chat as good as I normally can. You know. And I'm not saying that, like, you know, oh, they keep interrupting. No. You know, you have commentators for a reason, so you're not sitting here talking the whole time. I'm just used to sitting here talking the whole time. I'm used to that. So, like, when somebody else talks, I'm like, huh? What? What just happened? You know? Oh boy. Anyway, yeah. I'm glad it went okay. It was good. I think I can do better though. I think I can do better than that. It's just gonna take some time, so, you know, time we have. The first one's always the hardest. Yeah, we went over the hump, but dude, I'm telling you, I'm actually kind of beat, dude. I've been up since this morning, and it's not like, you know, a normal day where I get up and just kind of get everything done. Like, you know, I was prepping. I wrote down a bunch of notes about, you know, I took a bunch of technical notes down and crew notes on who's flying, etc., just in case that information needed to be up. I wanted to be prepared, you know, so I spent a good bit of time preparing, you know. So that actually, like I said, that takes a lot out of you. It's weird. It takes a lot more out of you than doing a Twitch stream, even commentating a launch. Turn up the radio. You're always preparing. Just go. I got to do some movie quotes with Jack, though. That made me happy. Jack's the freaking man. I like that guy a lot. He's a good dude. You can't be off the cuff as much when you're trying to be semi-professional. Yeah, God, I have to find that balance, dude. It's, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm confident that I could do it. I just have to do it more. That's all. I didn't get this good at doing streaming from just, you know, practicing. Eventually just got to come in and hit the start button, you know? What do you want to fly in more, New Shepard or Virgin? And I'm going to give the diplomatic answer and say that Dude, I would fly on either. Yeah, I'd fly on either. Virgin stepped up their game. This flight looked a lot more tight and coordinated than it looked a lot more tight and coordinated than last time. I mean, the last flight they technically didn't stream, but this was a lot tighter of a cast than the inaugural flight. I was watching. I had their stream up too. It was pretty good. Their chat was awful, but that's another story. Yeah, I wouldn't mind flying on Virgin Galactic. I think, though, and this is me, I think I'd want that 5, 4, 3 engine ignition, 2, that like actual vertical rocket launch experience. I think I would want that. Not to say that Virgin Galactic is bad either. I would do either one if given the opportunity. It's really cool. Yeah, Alex, I'm tired, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. Got some laws out of DOS with the Xbox controller. Yep. I'm sure you get this a bunch already, but I think you commented fantastically. Kind of threw me back when I heard your voice. Oh, thank you. Oh, well, that's good, Woody. I just think I think I can do better. Not saying that. Not to say that was bad. I think I can do better. I noticed a ton of things from now that I'm thinking about it, like I noticed a ton of things that I could have done like way better. And don't get me wrong, I'm not like deterred or anything. I want to do better. Yeah. So, yeah, good stuff. Here, look at this picture.
And liftoff of the United Launch Alliance Delta IV Heavy rocket, carrying NROL 68 for the National Reconnaissance Office.
That was the second to last one, Daitor. That's cool. Yep, plug came out there. That's supposed to do that. Oh, that's wild. Look at that. Anyway. Maybe a controversial question, but do you think they should be called astronauts? What's the official distance to be in space? Sorry, I gotta get this off the screen. I'm just looking at that going, heh. Sony Cage, should they be called astronauts? I don't know, man. You know, okay, so I guess I'll be straightforward. You can call them whatever. They can call them whatever they want. There's you know, a Virgin Galactic astronaut, and then there's a NASA astronaut, and those are way two different things, right? Those are way two different things, okay? You know, I can see how some people would be like, they're not astronauts. What mission did they fly? You know what I mean? You just paid for a seat. I can definitely see that. Oh, absolutely. I can see that and understand why you wouldn't want to call them that. But on the other hand, you know, they can call them whatever they want. They're pumping money. These folks that have cash and are spending money on commercial spaceflight are financing inadvertently. They're financing the commercial space industry, dude. I think there's an argument to be made that you can call them whatever, call yourself whatever you freaking want to. You know? As long as we kind of tack on that there's a difference between, you know, a Virgin Galactic astronaut, a Blue Origin astronaut, and a NASA astronaut. A NASA astronaut is different. Just like there's a difference between a commercial airline pilot and a fighter pilot. Right? Those are two different aircraft. They do way different things. Does that mean one can't be the other? No, not necessarily, but they're both pilots at the end of the day. Now, I also understand that people, you know, like, you know, you should say, well, they're not pilots. They're flying back seat. They're not pilots. Well, I mean, those guys were. Some of those guys were lieutenant colonels in the Italian Air Force. They absolutely are pilots. Even the guy that wasn't flying, one of the guys that wasn't flying was. But, I mean, on the other hand, dude, I think that, you know, there is sort of, as we move into a realm of commercial human spaceflight, I think there's a marketing decision to call yourself an astronaut if you've flown into space.
Go at throttle up.
Even though, like, I think it's very important to make the distinction between, like, a commercial astronaut and a NASA astronaut, or like an Axiom astronaut versus NASA astronaut versus a Russian cosmonaut, you know, or a Chinese taikonaut or something like that. It's important to make the distinction, but honestly, I don't really care. You can call them whatever you want, because you know what, man? If some rich person that has a couple $1 million hanging in the bank, right, you know, wants to, I want to launch into space, that's a couple $1 million towards the industry. And more market capital being thrown around in the commercial spaceflight industry isn't a bad thing. So, like I said, I can 100% understand why people get irked by, you know, people that fly on Blue Origin or people that fly on Virgin Galactic, why they get irked by calling them astronauts, because, you know, you know, they're not NASA. They're not like Alan Shepard or Gus Grissom or something like that. It's a different thing. But also at the same time, if more people are willing to spend from a marketing standpoint to get that title of commercial astronaut, they can call them whatever they want. Because that's more money for the industry, and that's a good thing. You know? Hey, Doom, 81-month resub. To be honest, I agree with NASA's take about an astronaut having to be an active participant in the operation of the mission. If the mission wouldn't change, if it was a sack of potatoes in the seat, I'd call it a passenger. Yeah, of course. But, I mean, on the other hand, that's good for the industry, dude. That's good for the industry. You know, more people said, you know, more rich folk want the title of having a commercial astronaut. That's more money for the industry, and I can't see anyone saying that that's a bad thing for the industry. More market capital in the industry is way better for said industry, you know? And if that means, you know, they get the title of commercial astronaut, very big designation there. Commercial astronaut versus, you know, NASA astronaut, I don't have a problem with that. No, go ahead. More money for the industry. You can call yourself a Bananarama if you want. I don't care. Took my buddy to the Falcon launch and landing a few weeks ago. He was blown away. Hopefully not literally. That's cool though, man. Right on. Mike Sheets showed that after the launch, the stock market price of SPCE dropped. Any thoughts? I'll switch us over to science and technology.